Hello and happy full moon. Full moon in Cancer. Had a very hectic weekend, doing a psychic fair and traveling and meeting some great clients. Um, so I want to talk a little bit about this full moon. Full moon in Cancer can be a very emotional full moon. You might find yourself revisiting things that you had thought about changing 6 months ago, and you finally make the decision to actually take action on this full moon, much like everything coming to a head, so to speak. Um, I did my first speaking engagement at a local venue about mediumship. I've done other speaking engagements on live television and radio, but it was fun to do something at a venue. Um, and so, talking about mediumship, we talked about mediumship for closure. And I do a lot of fairs throughout the year. And it's important to note, and I had this conversation with my teacher up in New Jersey the other day. There's people who have confidence in their skill sets, and then there are people who are strictly coming from a place of ego. And this is something that needs to be discerned. Hopefully by the medium they need to figure out, are they confident in their work, or is it more of a ego kind of self-fulfilling need. So that's a very important thing to figure out. If you're doing this work for ego and strictly for money, you're in the wrong field, and it's not going to work out, and your clients are going to pick up on that at some point. Even though our clients may not intuitively do the work that we do, they know if someone's sincere or not. So that's something that has come up with this full moon across my radar. Having the confidence and the skill set. I've been doing evidential mediumship now for about 10 years, but I've been professionally reading tarot cards and been a psychic professionally for close to 35 years, and had my first deck when I was 9 years old and going to be 59 in March. Um, and I've decided to get certified with my teacher, Gloria Weikend. She has the sanctuary up in New Jersey, and she also sat on the board of Lilydale, New York, Lilydale Assembly, and currently has her own healing center as well as provides her services. So I'm going to be getting my 16-month credentialing through Gloria, and I'm really excited. I'm starting that on Thursday evenings. Um, and I think it's important for me to get to the next level to invest in myself, and to be able to have my gifts more organized so that I can be more of service to my clients. So these are just things that have kind of crossed my radar, may have crossed other people's radars. Ego versus confidence. I mean, I think that that's a really important thing in any field that you're in. Um, if you work in sales, or you work in services, or you work in healthcare, you know, what are you coming from, a place of ego or confidence from knowledge? Confidence from knowledge is not something that can be faked. So those are, some things that would like to talk about a little bit. Um, I'm going to be starting to do podcasts on YouTube about different topics that might be helpful to people, um, especially with how chaotic the world can be right now. Um, but in the meantime, I figured I would, um, as I have to go through like an application process with YouTube, I figured I would make this video to get it out to everybody. So, with that being said, whatever vocation that you're in, you know, question yourself, especially on this full moon. in Cancer. Cancer has a lot to do with healing, has a lot to do with family. It's a culmination, building up. It's also the first full moon of the new year. So it's, what sets the tone for this entire year for you. Okay. That's what this full moon is about is, what is the tone? And for many of us, myself included, it was about stepping away from things that are not good for us emotionally. And that is Cancer. Cancer in the full moon is very emotional. But it's also about what do you wish to release that um, maybe makes you react emotionally. And, going back to it's always better to act than react. So if you're going to be making changes in your life at this time, make sure that you're being thoughtful about it and you're not just pulling the trigger because of a reaction. So that's an important thing to think about. So talking about mediumship as closure, and being an evidential medium, when I'm doing mediumship for clients, I try to bring them details that only they would have known, or maybe something between them and their loved one that's on the other side. And that could be an article of clothing, it could be a vacation place that they used to go to, it could be a piece of jewelry, a piece of china. I mean, something that would be an identifying piece of evidence that would come forth through my guides to my client to show them that I am indeed communicating with their loved one. So that's what evidential mediumship is. There's a lot of people who hang a shingle out and call themselves mediums. Um, they may very well be connecting with spirit, but I would say being an evidential mediumship, the training is much more intensive and much more detailed. So that's why we're able to bring forth the evidence the way that we do. And it does lend more credibility in doing work like this that is a little bit unusual. It's not like doing retail or customer service. It's definitely a skill set that requires a lot of integrity. Um, and yeah, so that's the difference between evidential. I had a lot of great questions this weekend about mediumship and evidential mediumship. And I, knock on wood, have not had a near death experience, so I can't speak to NDEs or near death experiences. But we, surmise that sometimes we are here, our soul has come to earth in this time period to learn a lesson, to redo a lesson. Um, and I do believe that if you don't get the lesson, there is a chance that you could come back. Um, do I know that for sure? No. But I do think that we have some sort of agreement to be here at this very time. Um, so that's a little bit about mediumship, evidential mediumship, closure for loved ones, ego versus confidence. Um, so, whatever um, you end up deciding to do in terms of career path, um, even in a relationship, are you in a relationship? Is it out of ego or is it out of confidence the way you act in your relationship? And that could be with work colleagues, that could be in a marriage, it could be a boyfriend or a girlfriend. But I think it's important to recognize those attributes. If we're coming from a place of ego, it's self-serving and it's not about service to each other. It's about service to myself. And I do question people who get into the metaphysical world as readers and what is really their intention, um, especially when they make it all about money. And my feeling is money is an energy exchange. However, if I'm doing the work with spirit correctly, the energy exchange is going to be there for me. I'm not going to have to prove um, that, through ego that I'm qualified because the confidence will be there in what I'm doing. So that's just my 2 cents for the Tuesday, the 14th of January. Look for me on some podcasts on my YouTube page. I will be posting them. I will share the link on my Facebook wall so that people can find my YouTube lives and podcasts. And I will do some interactive readings for people. I think that would be really fun. I feel like I'm ready to do that. It's taken a little bit of time for me to get confident enough to go onto camera, and I feel like I'm ready to do that. So everybody have a blessed 2025, and I look forward to seeing more of you. Okay, take care. Bye bye.